What is an action? Everything that uses criteria is an action. From attack rolls, spells, skills, even movement is an action. Every action here is listed for players and game masters to choose in gaming time or network play. Every action has an icon that can be chosen from 5,000 icons inside the game. And it has a name. It has an option of be a single actor action and can be chosen as an action for players and game masters, players only, game masters only, or is the special action turn order. Actions are not used only in combat. For instance, skill actions are used all the time to see if a player senses motive or if he succeeds at a diplomacy check and so on. So actions are not tied specifically with combat. It's a best practice if you choose good icons related to what that action does. For instance, turn order, or walk, or lightning bolt, and so on. Every action has an isValid property who allows the action to be used for a specific character sheet. For instance, the breath weapon action can only be used by the Wyvern. This is the demonstration rule. While the Cone of Cold can only be used if the character has caster level above 0. Let's load the demo campaign and open this cemetery scenario. For every character in the game, you will see that the actions that this character can do are listed to the right of this yellow separator. Okay? And this list changes for each one of them. For instance, this one is a mage, so he can cast spells. And this one is not, and so on. Every action that the character can do is listed here. And when a character is selected here, either by the game master or the player, and when he clicks here, the action is started. As an example, I will choose the skill action, and you will notice that this input window appears. Where this comes from? Let's cancel this and open the criteria window here and look at the skill action. You will see that every action usually starts with an action step. The action step node is perhaps the most powerful node that exists in criteria. The action step allows players and game masters to roll dice, to input fields, and several other things. For instance, choosing the place that he will move, or the area of the spell that will be casted, and so on. Action step is the link of the communication link between criteria and the players and game masters. For instance, the input field here is what you saw when I clicked in skill in the game menu. Here, look, caption, actor, skill. I will close this and click here. See, this is the input that the actor will choose? The actor will choose what skill he will use. Okay? We will now return to our D20 2024 rule, and we will create the first action, the one who will use our combat modifier info created in the last lessons. To create a new action, you click here and name it. In this case, we will want to do an ability check. This will be a simple check. We will just roll a d20 and add the ability modifier that we calculated in our info. We will now select an icon for that action. And I will type here man, because the ability is tied to a character. And I will select the Vitruvian Man, because after all, the Vitruvian Man is a measure of our body. It's I think it's a good icon, but that's personal taste, of course. Now, what does this single actor checkbox means? If it's checked, it says that only one actor can do this action at a time. But if you left unchecked, the game master and only the game master can select several characters and ask all of them to do a persuasion test or a spot check. So it's good to have this ability for several actors. There are some actions that requires kind of a single actor. We will see that in the future. Now that we created our action, it's time to edit it. So you can click here and the action is here. Now we can start adding nodes to our action. Remember, the action will be run, or it will enter here when the player or the game master clicks on the Vitruvian Man icon that will appear at the bottom of the game screen. Now, since this action is for everyone, I will just click that is valid here, and almost every action starts with an action step, because we always need some kind of input. Let's name this action ability check. Now let's breathe and remember what we want. We want to do an ability check. So if you look at the book, you will see that you will need to roll a d20 and add your ability modifier. And since this is an ability check for every ability, the actor will need to choose what ability he will use. Strength, dexterity, constitution, and so on. Let's create an input field to do that. To create an input field, you must ask yourself, who is the person who will do this input? In our case, it will be the actor. The actor is the owner of the character who's doing the action. For instance, if it's a player who owns its character, it's the player. But if it is an NPC or monster, it will be the game master. Criteria knows who owns each character. So we will drag an input field on the actor input. And we put a caption here. Ability, because the player will choose the ability. And it will be a list, a combo box with choices. str. The choices in criteria are separated with commas. Dex on int with. Please notice, and this is very important, that I am using here exactly the same name I give to the fields in the character sheet. Do you remember? We created 6 fields in the character sheet, 1 for each ability. With exact these names, we will use those names to call our information. The information that we created has a parameter, and the parameter expects exactly those strings to access the field or the correct field. And remember that we need also a D20 row, because we need to add the result of the row to the info modifier, okay, or the modifier info. Let's add a row here. You grab the row dice here over the input field, dice to row, D20. If I was too quick, please notice that I dragged row dice over the name input field here. When you drag something from here, there, and you drag onto a node, he will put this after the node. If you want to put this before the node, you will drag it to this area here, okay? We need a row for. This is a text that will appear in the game telling the player why he is rolling that dice, okay? So we roll for ability check. And now we have 2 informations here. One is the input field, which will have one of these 6 options listed, and the other will be the result of the D20. And of course, we need a third input. We need the difficulty class. The game master should inform what is the difficulty class for this ability check. And that input is only for the game master. It's not for the player. So we will add another input field here in the game master input. We call it DC. And the input guide is integer. Why this is integer? Because the difficulty class is a number, is an integer number. It's not a floating point number, okay? Nor it's a combo, nor it's a checkbox. It is a number. So when it's a number, you use integer. Now, a good practice for any programming language, not only criteria, is to do things in small steps. There's a joke that says use the KISS principle. And the KISS principle says keep it simple, stupid. Okay? So we will keep it simple, and we will roll this. We will test this right now. Although we are not using this results anywhere, and it will do nothing. But at least we could test if every input field and everything is working. To test a rule, we need a campaign. And to create a campaign and use it, we need maps. So I will create a simple map here just to test our campaign. A very simple map is just a floor and perhaps one or two characters. So we will add a floor here. It's just a floor. And I will add a character here. Oh, that's okay. It's generic one. And I will put a monster here. Anyone, not too big. Oh, a werewolf. Oh, that's fine. The werewolf. Okay. They're not exactly in the center, but that's okay. Now we are ready to go. I will save this. And this is the 2024 test map. Save. We can now create our campaign. New campaign. We choose our rule, and that's important. And we name it the 2024 test. Okay, and we'll add the map we created. The map is here. Let's save our campaign. Campaign was successfully saved. Now we just click on the map and click Edit Map. This mode is a test mode for criteria. Everything you do here will be the same as in a network game, but it allows the game master to test or to play test his own encounters before going with it with the players. When you edit a map inside the campaign, there's a difference, and the difference is this. Now each character can have a character sheet linked to it. So let's choose Conorian here, okay, because this is what we created. And now we can test this. One thing must be said before we continue. This is the character sheet, okay? This is tied to the rules. But here you have the character, the appearance of the character, the weapons he is cosmetically carrying. But it's important to understand that any weapon here is just a representation. You may think of this character here in Multiverse Designer exactly as a miniature in a tabletop game. And this is exactly as the pen and paper character sheet. So you may have a miniature that is totally different from the character. And here we have the same situation. The fact that this guy has a big hammer doesn't mean that you have a big hammer in the character sheet. Okay? Keep that in mind. And now that we have a character linked to a character sheet, we can go to game mode and you will see that our ability check is here. So let's test it. Remember that we are testing only the input. So this should open an input field for us to choose what ability we should check, and also a DC for the game master to fill. Now, since this is a demo test, a play test for the game master, both the informations from the character and the difficulty class are here in the same form. But this, in a network game, will have the ability being filled by the player if the player started the action, and the difficulty class will be filled by the game master. We will go into that in future lessons. We have here the ability that we want to test. Okay, it's good, it's working. And here I have the difficulty class. So it's working. The test is successful. I will click accept, but nothing will happen because we didn't made nothing in the resolution area. Let me show you. I will click cancel, and I will go to criteria here, and we will remember the action. The action has an input and a roll dice. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the roll dice. I will go back there, and we will do it again. Okay. Here, and I click for a few, something like, and click accept, and then we have a roll dice. Oh, 20. You may have noticed that it appeared here. Roll for unnamed ability check. Why this is happening? That happens because our character doesn't have a name. Let's put a name on him. Okay, let's call it Conorian. And okay, now if we do the same action again, okay. Oh, roll for Conorian ability check. Okay. Let's review what we did here. When we click here, it opens an input, and when we click accept, we will roll dice. Why? Because we asked for an input field, and we asked for a roll dice, and also we asked for a game master input field, and criteria knows we are in a play test, so it put these two fields together in order to save clicks. Okay. In the next lesson, we will learn how to use those informations, the fields and the rolling dice, to finish our action and create a journal